Welcome back to 5-Day Crypto. My name is Chase. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at Bitcoin against the US dollar on the daily chart, the weekly chart. We're going to look at the RSI. We're going to look at the Gaussian Channel. We're going to see what the indicators are telling us, what the charts are saying. Let's go. We're going to start off on Bitcoin on the weekly. So if you like the video today, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter, Telegram, Patreon if you want to learn more. On the weekly chart, look at what we've done, right? This is our bull market support band. We have our 20-week, in the red, our 20-week SMA. In the yellow, we have our 21 EMA. Historically speaking, once the 21 EMA crosses above, that's when Bitcoin can make its bigger moves, right? It's usually the foreshadowing of a potential downside if they start crossing as we did back in April. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. Doesn't always work out that way, but historically speaking, the big moves happen after the 21 EMA is on top. So that's where we could be shaping up to be. Next week, I would say these will be crossed for sure, unless we get a potential downwards candle here this week. If, say, we come back down and we're at, 45K, 44K or less, then this would probably avoid the cross. It would look like it just kind of bounced and then came back down. Okay, that's what we would not want. We want to see this cross if we want more potential to the upside. So that's what we're going to look at today. But if at some point in time, Bitcoin will need to test both of these lines, we have to hold above it. Historically speaking, when you start holding this band is when your big moves occur, right? You have to hold it for multiple weeks. This is on a weekly chart, not one test or just get above it and you're good to go. No, you have to test it and hold above it for long periods of time. You don't want to just come above it and then go back down, right? That was the pandemic drop. So kind of an anomaly, but you can see even last cycle in 2018, last bear market, we got above it, couple times. We tried to test that band, even peaked above it a couple times, but still failed to rally above it. But what I like this time versus the last bear market is look at our 21 EMA week line. It's moving up. When did you ever see the 21 EMA moving up in our last bear cycle? Never? That's the correct answer. Never. So hopefully we're in something like this. We get a cross up, we hold it above, we come back and test it. Even if we do come back and test it this week, next week, historically, Septembers have been kind of the area of a pullback. Last September, let's go look at it. Well, we retested it there, didn't we? Last September 2020. How about the previous September? Yep, right there again. How about the previous September? September, again, we're right at it. Again, we seem to always be hanging around the support band, the 21, the 20, every September. Let's go look at the previous one if we can find it. September again. Tested it again. 2017. So this is past 4 years now. Every September we tend to come back and test these moving averages, the 21 week, the 20 week. If we hold it when we come back down and test it, I'm not saying we're going to do that this week or next week. It could be, another 3 or 4 weeks. But odds are, from historically looking at the charts, so we just did, the past 4 years, we've came back and tested this in September. So we want to be on high alert here. If we break it and don't hold it, that would be a very bad sign. If we come back down and bounce off of it, that would be a very good sign. Okay? That's Bitcoin. How about the Gaussian Channel? What's that saying? Well, good things and bad things, potentially. Good things, we're out of the Gaussian Channel. Bad things are, historically speaking, once you're in the Gaussian Channel for any period of time on the 5-day, Bitcoin lasts a prolonged period of time. What would we want to look for is a close above this line, just on the 5-day chart, which we're on here. So each candle is now 5 days instead of a week. Plain and simple, look at this level. It's hard to argue with. This is a clear support resistance line. 1 candle, 2, 3, 4, 5 as support, support. We break it with a closing candle, come back down, and it's resistance. Where are we now? Does that mean that we've broken it? No, we haven't closed it. But good news is 9 hours. It closes today. This is a 5-day candle. So we close this today. If we hold above this, I would say around, 49K? Let's go with 49K. If we can close above 49K today, the 5-day chart says that's a good sign. We're also above the Gaussian channel again. The top of that line, if we get above it, we want to come back down. If we come back down, we'd like to hold it. 46.8 is that top side right there. That's what we would want to hold if we come back up, have a rally, and then come back down. Okay, we want to hold it as support after you break it as resistance. 49K is going to be the number on the 5-day. What else do we got? Well, RSI, weekly, Bitcoin. 1 touch point, 2 touch points, maybe not. 3 touch points is what you want to have to draw a trend line, not 2. But you can't, trend lines are subjective to draw, so you can draw them, a little bit different. Everyone draws them a little bit different, but 3 touch points is minimum to draw. You have 1, right? 2 is still not very strong. 3, now we're talking. So are we going to break this? We've been in a downtrend since all of 2021 for the RSI for Bitcoin. Or do we hold that and bounce down lower? That would be bad, because it's highly probable if we get rejected here and you see us come down, prices will follow. However, if you see us, let's say next week we close and we're, spiking through here, good sign. I would say it's a good sign. Now, weekly, zoom out more. Historically, where do you see here? Well, we've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again. Usually above this red line is a bull market, right? This is a whole bull cycle here. 2018 bear cycle. This was just our little summer bubble that we had. We went from 3K down in here to 14K, then right back down. Our real bull cycle started right in this area after we held this key level as support. Look where we are now. If we come back down, we've got to hold roughly that 55 level. You can see sometimes we move just slightly, oscillating around that number. But I don't know what happened. Let's go to the next one. RSI. Stochastic RSI. We got to hold above that on the RSI. 55-ish level. We want to hold that. Stochastic RSI. Bitcoin. Lots of momentum. This is why we're making the moves, right? This is what we wanted to wait for. We've been waiting for this for weeks. We want to continue this. We want to hang out up here. This would lead Bitcoin on a rally. If we could stay up here for months like we did back here, many weeks, then it's likely that Bitcoin could potentially retest or break the all-time highs. If we can stay up in this area, right? We don't want to just come back up and come back down like this. We don't want this. We would like this. So we'll have to see. Time will tell. But that is stochastic RSI on a weekly. That's what we want to watch. Bollinger Bands, Bitcoin. What do we got now? Well, nice uptrend. What do we want to watch for? Our median line usually acts as support until it doesn't. If we see prices below this purple line on a daily chart, that would be our warning sign, because we've held above it since we've started making our rally here. So you can even remove this if you want even a bigger heads up. Draw a trend line here. If we can get the chart right, there you go. So I would say early warning sign that we could potentially be drawing back to make, retest that 20-week or, more downside if we break this line. Trend line, nice trend line here on going back to July. So right now, if we were to test it today, obviously we're not going down here today, I wouldn't think, but so 46, this is going up. So if we don't test it until like September, we're still good, right? We could be prices higher than this, but this will likely be the warning sign if we are to break that. But for potential right now for the Bollinger Bands, we got to just continue holding this. This is not a power move by any means on a Bollinger Bands. You want the mouth to be opening. You want diverging lines, not converging like they are now. This just means volatility is narrowing, and most of your price action on Bollinger Bands happens inside the bands. So let's look at it on a different time scale. There's the 3-day chart. Let's put it back on auto here. 3-day chart looking okay still, right? We got some room to run still to the upside. 5-day. Well, we're starting to open the mouth a little bit, right? But we're already outside of the band. So there's potential here that, it's got to continue this move or it'll act like a rubber band and kind of pull it back in. So we need to continue to move upside, or we'll probably see some sideways or downwards movement. That's just on the 5-day though. So let's go look at the weekly. What do we like here? Well, I see some stuff I like and some stuff I don't like. What I do like is we've broken through the median line. Usually, after you break that to the upside, you're going to test the top line before anything else. Does that mean we're going to 59K? No, because as you can see, this is coming down each week that we get here. So maybe next week it's coming like this. This one's kind of going like this. So maybe next week we come up, if we have a super rally, maybe we could get to 55K or something like that. That would also kind of correspond to kind of this kind of level right in there, right? So maybe we do something like that and then come back down and just wait for a bit, retest this median line. I'm just giving you some, thoughts to what to look for, right? And then we kind of zoom out again, back going into the last Q1 of the year. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, just trying to show you some options that we have here. Ideally, we'd want to continue this move up, but look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're at our 6th weekly green candle. Has it happened? Can we get more weeks? Sure. I mean, but historically speaking, when have you seen a whole string of green candles on a weekly scale? Doesn't happen that often, does it? So don't be alarmed if we have a red week. It doesn't mean Bitcoin's going back to $9,000 or anything, but it'd be healthy for us to test the 21-week support band at some point, and we have to hold that when it does. Just because it tests it once and holds it doesn't mean anything. We have to hold it for a prolonged period of time. We want to come back and test this and hold it for, it could take weeks, right? Weeks back in here, 2020, weeks, even right here, our final test before a big move. I feel like we need to build a nice base before we can have a big launch out of Bitcoin. So that, I'll leave you with that. Let me see if I got one more bonus thing if you've hung around this long. It's for Link. So not Bitcoin, but Link. Look at this big trend line from 2018. Forgot to show this in my video, my Chainlink video earlier. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that video. I made a Chainlink video this morning. But say Bitcoin does do that retest on the 20-week and, everything starts going down a little bit. That'd be fine, right? It's healthy. We need a pullback at some point. Where would we like to see Link bounce at? Well, I would say right here, because it would remain intact with our big trend line, our 3-year trend line. And also it would hold as our previous resistance, support, hopefully support right around this same level, right around the $19, $20 level. So if Bitcoin retests its 20-week in September, let's say, you could see this, look at the time frame, September, we'd want to hold this with Chainlink on a weekly scale. Be pretty good. If we do that, and then we can maybe continue going up the stairs here. Then maybe going into, late part of this year, 2022, going into springtime, maybe we're back at all-time highs, right? But if Bitcoin wants to go to 100K this year, then yeah, I think Link could continue these power moves and start putting in something like this, right? Maybe we're just right in this move and we're getting ready to have a big jump up and then more consolidation, right? We'd love to see that, right? Link just hang out and then explode. And I think it can do that as long as Bitcoin remains bullish and not too bullish. Keep above the 20-week. Link can make its moves. We want Bitcoin to hold that. I can't stress if you're new, this is the key for Bitcoin explosive moves. Is all of crypto can still explode if we hold this band. We need to hold it like we did back here, like we've done back here. That is going to be key when we do that. We're going to have to test it, right? We don't just moon launch without testing it. Certainly not without coming with these kind of drops. You always have to test it, build a nice support back up, and then you can go to your parabolic stuff. So I still think we have some time with Bitcoin. I am not sure that we're going to do 100K this year. I would love it, right? I'd love to do that. I think altcoins would go just freaking insane if Bitcoin decides to do all this. But we need to look at both sides of the coin and be prepared for the downside as well. So if Bitcoin goes back and tests this week, next week, September, altcoins will likely bleed harder, right? If Bitcoin pulls back 10, 20%, altcoins were likely to at least that, likely 50 to 100% worse than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a 10% pullback. Altcoins will likely average 20%, which is how it works. So take with that information what you will. I appreciate you watching this long if you have. My name's Chase. Be sure to hit the like button real quick before you leave. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much. 57 gold stars to you.